And a lean, silent figure slowly fades into the gathering darkness, aware at last that in this world, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. Are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo? Or are you Satoru Gojo because you're the strongest? These words, I've always remembered them. How could I forget? You could say that that day changed everything about me. Or maybe it dropped the veil of who I once was. My name is Satoru Gojo. And I am all that remains. You know my story. Born to one of the 3 prestigious clans who were masters in the arts of Jujutsu and cursed sorcery. I was blessed not only with the power of the 6 eyes, but also inheriting my clan's power of limitless. I used to believe that no one could stop me, that I alone was the strongest. However, I was humbled, and I faced the cold truth. I had only scratched the surface. There was so much more to this world, so much more that I couldn't comprehend, and yet it was only when I was on the verge of death, when my life was on the line, I became enlightened. I was blessed. I alone became the honored one. There were those that stood by my side. Satoru Geto and Peter Parker. However, I didn't see the changes in the both of them. Perhaps it was because of that mission. If only things had been different, maybe we wouldn't be on this path. But there's no point in dwelling on it now. When my friends slaughtered that village, at first, I couldn't believe it. I didn't understand. I didn't know why. When I ran to him in the streets, I was filled with anger. Principal Yaga told me what had happened, but I refused to believe it. What he had done to that village, done to his parents, it couldn't possibly be true. But then he said those words to me. He told me his ideals. And I stopped and I thought to myself, what if he was right? After all, despite the power, Jujutsu sorcerers are quite outnumbered. And there are beings in this world even far greater than us, far greater than mere cursed spirits. The ones that hide in the shadows, or the ones that dwell in the realms far beyond that of humans. In the end, I was nothing more but an insignificant fish in the grand ocean that was the universe. But even still, I too had immense power. But I allowed myself to be shackled, to be weighed down by things such as law and morality. Morality from those of whom knew nothing about the world I lived in. Why did I waste all of my time trying to protect them? There wasn't any point. But If there was ever going to create a world where the ones I loved could be safe, I had to take drastic measures. It wasn't easy. I had to make friends with some not so nice people. But we all came to a mutual understanding to get what we wanted. There would be 3 domains. The domain of the gods, the one above all, and the realm of mortals. The White Dragon Emperor took his place. The start of the Great War. The angels, the fallen angels, and the devils. They wiped each other out. And he ruled what remained of that class, all under his authority. In agreement, he would stay out of the realm of man. After all, there was no use for him there. And then there was Sosuke. We were able to provide him with ample means of achieving his goal. All it cost was Karakura Town. But in the end, he was satisfied. He reached his own realm, becoming king. He had no need for the realm of the gods or the realm of the humans. So our pact was sealed, and he wouldn't interfere. Once those two were out of the way, all that was left was for me to impose my will. Honestly, I was scared. I didn't know if I had the strength or the resolve to do it, but he was by my side. And it got easier. One by one, they all fell. Only those who were strong enough to survive did. And we created a new world in our image. However, there is one. The one that's opposed me all this time. And I know soon he'll come for me. Under the cover of night, a single figure swings through what once was Tokyo, Japan. The world had become a battlefield between the last of humanity and those who wished to aid them, and against those who aligned with Satoru Gojo, believing that it was time for humanity to evolve or to die. It had been almost 15 years since that day. There were those who tried to oppose him at first, but almost as if everything had been planned out, they seemingly fell one by one. How Peter was still alive, he had no idea. Was it the power of the cursed spider? It seemed to be the only thing keeping him going at this point. He would never forget that day. The day that Gojo hovered over Japan and enacted his will. The Zenin clan were the first to fall. That clan was completely wiped out. There were no survivors. He then made his way to the other, the Narutoshi. From there, he set his sights on the rest of the world, country by country. Using his power, he wiped out all those who had no potential for cursed energy. Among many of them, Peter's own Aunt May. Of course, it led to many clashes between both Peter and Gojo. Skirmishes, if you will. Each time they fought with such intensity, such ferocity, and yet, at the same time, It was almost as if there was a part of them that held back. There were a couple of moments where Gojo could have delivered the killing blow, and yet there were other times when Peter could have done just the same. Yet neither one of them ever took that next step. They didn't take the next step even when the other one crossed the line. Not when Aunt May was killed, not when Geto was killed. Despite hurting each other over and over again with their actions, the countless times they beat each other into a bloody pulp, the countless times they clashed with one another, the cities they destroyed, the landscapes they laid bare. Despite every clash, they seemingly always managed to walk away. But for tonight, Peter felt differently. For some reason, he felt like tonight, neither one of them were going to walk away from this fight. He knew exactly where Gojo would be, at the place where it all started, where she died. It was no surprise when Peter arrived to the catacombs, where Tengen once resided. There were a few guards, those who were loyal to Gojo. Peter was able to take them out with ease, his strength able to overcome them all. As he made his way, he found an empty room where there Gojo sat alone. Took you long enough. I thought you would have been here in 7 minutes. What's the matter? Age finally starting to catch up with you? Oh, I know. You were trying not to kill them, right? I appreciate that. You're still the same after all these years. Gojo, it's fine. Really. You know, I don't hate you. I don't hate you for what you did to Geto. I forgive you. I didn't come here looking for forgiveness, Gojo. I came here because it's time to stop. This has gone on long enough, don't you think? What do you mean? All the cursed spirits are almost completely gone. All that's left is you and me. What you've done. All of this murder, this want. I've done what's needed to be done, Peter. I wish you could understand that. It would have been so much easier if you would have just joined. I never would have joined you, Gojo. Yeah. Always have to play the hero. Now look where it's brought us. But you know, I just can't figure it out. You of all people. Why? After everything you've lost, after everything that's been taken from you, why do you still keep on fighting? It's something I don't quite get. You're persistent as ever. It's what you've always done. It's who you've always been. But even still, you'd think you'd have reached your limit. I'm sorry about May. If it makes you feel any better, I made sure it was quick. Shut up. It's not like I tortured them. It's not like I lined them up and butchered them in the streets. I simply gave them a choice. And the ones that were strong enough to live, lived. Look, the cursed spirits are almost entirely gone, save for a few special grades. If you and I work together, we could take them all out. The gods are gone. They're never coming back. The Shinigami, they've all been taken care of. So no more hollows either. This realm is a realm for the exceptional, like you and me. Instead of fighting me, we should be remaking this world in our own image. We have the capability. Peter, don't you understand? I was blessed with the limitless and with the six eyes. And yet out of everyone, even greater than Ghetto, you've been able to keep up with me this whole time. And I've been giving it my all too. You've always been able to bounce back. You've always been able to get back up. You have it in you. That greatness, that drive, that thing that pushes you, that edges you on to be the best that you can be. Why deny it? You hide under that mask, but I can sense it. I can feel it deep in here. You act like we're the same. We are. Come on. Everyone you could ever love is gone now. So why keep fighting? You can't say for humanity. You're not even human anymore. I was human, Gojo. Before I got bit by the spider, I was human, no different than them. And what about you? Before your power even awakened, you were no different than me. What about Toji? What about him? You would actually speak his name. Especially after what he did to you and Rico? What? You have respect for him now? I mean, as a fighter, sure. But of all people, Peter, he was human. No different than me. I can't say I forgive him for what he did. I loved her. Well, maybe you didn't love her enough. Look, save it. I just wanted to try one last time. Because you're my friend, Gojo. I hoped I could speak reason with you. That maybe, just maybe, we could put an end to all of this. It's too late. We can't go back to the way things used to be. This is all we're left with. I can't take back what I've done. Neither can you. So, either we both walk away, or this is how it ends. Gojo shot off a hollow purple, destroying the exit, the only exit. There's no running away this time for either one of us. Either one of us leaves this cave, or we both die here. I think that's fair enough. 2 Jujutsu sorcerers underground. No lights, no cameras, no one to watch, just me and you. If we win, we leave. And that person shapes the world how they want it to be. If we both die here, then let us take Jujutsu with us. Peter readied himself in a stance. I agree. The fight raged on for what seemed like forever. The two of them ready to launch their final attacks. However, as Peter went in for the final strike, with Gojo down to one knee, Peter putting everything he had into this next attack with the intention of punching his fist straight through Gojo's skull. Something started to happen with his body. as if he were phasing in and out. Gojo waited, but nothing came. When he looked up, Peter was gone. Gojo simply smiled as he laid on the ground. Is this a form of divine intervention? I can't sense his presence. Oh well. The cave entrance would burst open. A young man with a sword in his hand rushed over to Gojo's side. Gojo-sensei, are you all right? Yuta. I felt his power disappear. I thought the fight was over, so I came immediately. Where is he? Gone. I have no idea what happened, but it's all irrelevant now. Come. It's time to move on into the final stages. Understood. But first, a meal. You hungry? I know this great sushi place in Kyoto. Sure. I mean, don't you want to treat your injuries first? Yeah, it'll be fine. Come on. Really got a hanking for sushi. And I could go for some mochi. Okay, let's do this one more time. My name is Peter Parker. I got bit by a cursed spider, and I went on to become a Jujutsu sorcerer. And for the last 20 years, I have been the one and only Spider-Man. However, after the death of someone that I held very close, it caused a divide. My once friend, Satoru Gojo, decided that in order to save the world, it was to destroy all non-sorcerers. I rose and attempted to stop him, and I've spent the last 15 years fighting in resistance against him, with the loss of loved ones on both sides. He conspired with people of great power, enabling him to rise with little to no resistance. In doing so, I have no backup. There's no one coming to help. I've been on my own ever since. I've tried to give him the benefit of the doubt, believing that there could be a better way. But I knew that I had to kill him. Now, strange things happen to me all the time, but what just happened, I can't even begin to describe. 1 minute, I thought that I was about to end the life of Satoru Gojo. And the next thing I knew, I found myself in Japan. Except things are a little different. The world hasn't gone completely to pot yet. And it seems as though whatever crisis occurred in my world has been averted. Only, there is a small change, and I guess it has to do with me. Because apparently, in this world, I'm dead.